Okay, good evening, everybody. If you are here, and I am going to be kind of talking about Notebook LM here tonight, and this is going to be the probably the first time I have actually done this on our YouTube channel. So, if you are here, welcome. If you're here from our Central Pennsylvania meetup, welcome to you. If you are stopping in from the channel, I want to thank you for coming out. My goal in all of the live streams I do, whether or not it's for our uh, content PLR curriculum business or otherwise, is to get you out in less than 30 minutes. And I will do the best I can here tonight. I will be taking questions here at the end. So if you have questions, feel free to ask them after the session. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get right into this. I'm going to share my screen. And rather than go through what I think is a risky venture, right? Of trying to do a PowerPoint during a live stream. I'm going to go through a presentation that I put together. And you can probably go back and listen to it if you want, and there won't be anything that you've got to necessarily pay attention to for this session. So if you feel like, well, I'd rather not sit down and watch. I don't really have time. You will be able to go back and listen to this when you finish. That's the goal in all of this. And what I want to talk about is Notebook LM kind of as a brain. And so, and rather than just thinking about it, as it has traditionally been presented, which is, a way to create some really cool stuff. I mean, you've got the audio overview. You can create slides, which I think is awesome. You can create video overviews. You can create a mind map, as you can see there on the right-hand panel. You can recreate reports. You can create flashcards, quizzes, infographics, data tables. You're probably familiar with all those. And quite frankly, what I think that this really does is this puts everything, makes everything that you want to learn accessible. So if you can get it into a PDF format, you can get it uploaded to Notebook LM, you can get it down to a reasonable summary, and Notebook LM will put the jelly down on the lowest shelf where you can get it. So it doesn't matter what it is, you can get it in here. You can pretty much learn anything that you want. And I think that's what is probably most awesome about Notebook LM is just what I've been able to learn since they've made this. And it's really made probably the end of my graduate program doable. I'm really busy and I'm a doctoral student, probably older doctoral student than you may be used to, but I was able to kind of finish because I'm able to learn things very quickly using Notebook LM. I'm able to get things that were very dense in terms of what they communicate, get it in here, and then get it into a format, whether it's audio, video, in terms of what I am learning. But that's not why I'm here tonight. What I really want to talk about are the connections that I hope that you're making with Notebook LM. And I think they're very important if you're going to be using it to its fullest capability. And I think I sent out an email tonight to the people who buy our curriculum that this is a session about maximizing Notebook LM. That's really what it is. And so if you think about Notebook LM, one of the things that you want to be aware of is that we can attach Notebook LM to any Gemini chat. So if you are a Gemini user, think about all the things that you can upload to Notebook LM. I'm going to take a step back here for a second. And so I can upload just about anything as a source that I want to understand. And so when I think about Notebook LM and what I'm uploading, when I started thinking about what I want to connect to Gemini, I'm thinking about my own stuff. I'm thinking about the things that I have, ideas that I've come up with, maybe webinars I've done. All of the things that I want to reuse and repurpose, and I want to reuse it and repurpose it in a way that's going to work for me. And so if you, for example, one thing you can do with Notebook LM is anything that's in Google Keep, you can upload it here. So if you've got all of your, your messy notes and things that you take on the fly, you can upload them here. And basically then what we can then do is we can then upload that whole notebook, right? Everything that's in it. Now, if you have the free version, you can put up to 50 sources in Notebook LM. If you have a paid version, you can upload 300 sources. So I want you to think about the fact that you got 300 sources inside of a notebook, and we can upload it here to Gemini. We can attach it to any Gemini conversation. And so once we get it in Gemini, right there are a number of things that we can do. And I said there are going to be 12 things that I want to explain to you in less than 30 minutes. It's really not even going to probably take 30 minutes. Again, the first thing to do is to kind of get that notebook in here, and it does have to be attached to the Gemini account that you're using. So whatever notebook you're using, make sure that you've got the stuff in the notebook that you're using for Gemini. What you're then going to do is you're going to then create things one at a time. And one of the really cool things about this is that I can have my entire business philosophy uploaded to Notebook LM. And then I can create any one of these tools using Gemini, using the AI. And this is something that you really want to test. You want to get your philosophy, your notes, or in some cases, your portfolio, or all of the things that are meaningful to you, and then what you can do is you can go to set a tool. In this case, let's say you want to create an image. I can create an infographic. And so I can create an infographic that represents what it is that I'm about, what it is my brand is about, what it is my portfolio says. I can create any image that I want based on the attachment of my Notebook LM notebook. So again, so what is the first thing I did? I attach my Notebook LM notebook. The second thing I'm going to do here is I'm then going to create an image. Now, again, all that's going to happen in one conversation in Gemini. And so what you're then going to do is you can go through each one of these elements with your Notebook LM notebook. So for example, you can create a Notebook LM notebook, attach it to a Gemini conversation, and you see the next tool down is Canvas. And so I'm going to be releasing a video tomorrow where I'm going to be using the Canvas to create a script for a video. So anything that's written, anything that's a document, anything that you want to create on the fly based on your Notebook LM notebook, you can do it in Canvas. And so Canvas is basically a writing and creation tool. So anything I can put into a document, I can create in Canvas. And I can do all of that based on the initial attachment of my Notebook LM notebook. So again, so what's the process? First, I attach my Notebook LM notebook. Then I say I want to use the Canvas tool, and I can create anything with Canvas that's going to be a document. I can also do deep research. So in other words, I can first attach my Notebook LM notebook, and I can influence the deep research. So I can then say, well, based on the way I do business, or based on my portfolio, or based on my existing research that I've already uploaded to Notebook LM, go and find this kind of research. And it doesn't have to be, deep research. It can be, well, go out and find who I want to interview, or go out and find a good city to hold a conference, or go out and find all of the people that I might need to talk to do business with. Deep research is a great way of being able to use the internet and use all of the tools that Google has in terms of search and to bring that into a conversation, but we want to influence that conversation. So basically, we're not just searching the web blindly. We've uploaded our Notebook LM notebook where we have our business philosophy. And when you start talking about creating notebooks, you want to create them separately. So you may want to have your marketing philosophy in one notebook. You may want to have your portfolio in another notebook. If you're employed, maybe you want to have all your accomplishments in another notebook. So however you do it, you want to place Notebook LM notebooks inside the Gemini conversation, and then we want to create different assets. And so far I've talked about two. or talked about three, we can also create videos. Now, and you'll see this in the video that I release tomorrow, that VO only allows you a few videos on a regular basis. And you may want to write this URL down. I don't have it down here. The way that you're going to work around that is if you have a paid account, you can go to vids.google.com. You can create your videos that way with the very same prompt. So again, so if you can't, you can only create so many in the chat. And they're only going to limit you. They're going to limit you to one, two, or three at a time. You can go and you can use vids.google.com. And next time I will have that in the chat. Okay, so we've created an image, an infographic with our NotebookLM notebook. We've created a document with our canvas. We've created deep research. We've created a video. We can also now create music. And you're going to see this in the video that I release tomorrow, that what we can do is we can say, well, based on my business philosophy in this notebook, I want to create a song. Right. So you can do that here in this element. So we're going to select music, going to put it next to our NotebookLM notebook, and we are then going to create whatever music that we want to create. Guided, excuse me, guided learning is a very interesting kind of tool. And basically, we can set up guided learning to learn just about anything. So one of the things you could do is you can put all of the most complex things that you just cannot get your arms around in one NotebookLM notebook. You're going to attach it to this conversation, and you're going to ask NotebookLM notebook to help you to take baby steps by baby steps to understand in your own language, guided learning. And it's going to walk you through a step-by-step process of guided learning. And it's a tool. Basically, they say that it is a Socratic way of learning where it basically questions you until it makes sure you understand what it is that you are doing. You see down there at the bottom, the experimental features there, personal intelligence. And we're not going to talk a lot about that here, but basically, if you want to have your chats influenced by your past chats, you want to have your chats influenced by certain information you put in Gemini, you can do that here by turning on personal intelligence. You can do all that in your settings. And again, I keep that turned on by default, and because it always kind of remembers what it is that I like, what it is I'm doing, and then if I don't want that, I just turn it off, right? But I keep that turned on by default. It's a good thing to keep turned on by default. So again, basically, you're going to be able to attach your notebook and to go through this. So let me just kind of put this into your memory. We're talking about using NotebookLM as the AI brain. So we're not just using it to create to create the cool stuff. We can create NotebookLM, slides, and all those things. I think those things are wonderful, but I think that scratches the surface of NotebookLM. We can create apps, entire apps. We can do that through gems and super gems. And I'm going to show you that here in a minute. So super gems is a way to create a fully functioning app. Gems is a way to create something that's more internal and more of a chat app, but you can pass it on to a customer. It's like having a GPT, right? So if you're used to chat GPTs, you can do the same thing in a gem. And so basically, just as we talked about a minute ago, we're just going to take our NotebookLM notebook and connect it to a Gemini chat. What does that mean then? We can also create it to a Gemini gem. I'll show you that here in a minute. But basically, we can we can take a NotebookLM notebook, attach it to a chat, and create an image. So that's something you can do. So you're not just trying to prompt, but you're saying, based on my business philosophy that I have uploaded to NotebookLM notebook, create this image. Right? So we can do that. We can also then again attach a NotebookLM notebook to a Gemini chat and then go through guided learning. So we can then say, well, I want to learn this subject, but I only want to learn it based on my business philosophy in NotebookLM. It's going to walk me through a process. So I can influence the learning process with guided learning and a NotebookLM notebook attached. I can attach a NotebookLM notebook to a Gemini chat. And again, you're going to see this tomorrow. I'm going to have a video on how to create a video ad with NotebookLM, and it's made possible by using Canvas. And basically, I'm able to create a script for a video. I'm able to create a prompt for the music. So I can do everything in Canvas that is documented. Right? So anything I want to create in the way of a document, I can do that by attaching my Notebook LM notebook to a Gemini chat and then asking the canvas to do a specific tool. I can create a video. So I can attach my Notebook LM notebook to a Gemini chat. I can then turn on the video and I can create a video based on my Notebook LM notebook. So and again, you'll see this tomorrow. I said based on this, I want you to create 6 scenes that are based on my business philosophy that I have in this notebook, and Gemini will do that for you using the AI. Does it? And so one of the things I do want to talk about when it comes to Gemini and Google when it comes to using AI, and again, I think they're all very cool. The whole vibe with Gemini and the whole vibe with Google is they don't want you to have to know specialized prompts. Now, again, you got to know some of these ins and outs, but the direction of their AI is not for you to have specialized knowledge. It's not for you to have to have, deep prompts. They want you to be able to get it all from Gemini if you need it. And typically, they really want you to prompt in plain language. So they'll have some guidelines, but the goal of their AI is really for you to be able to talk to it just like you're talking to a human being. And so you want to start thinking about that as as you deepen your knowledge and your ability with AI. You want to move away from things that you've got to have, you've got to go out and buy prompts for. Got to go out and think through prompts for the goal for Gemini and maybe some of the other ones, I don't know them as well, but it's for you to be able to talk in plain language, just like I'm talking to you right now. And then Patch, we can touch a notebook there with a notebook to Gemini chat and we go through guided learning. I think I put that there twice. And we can create music. And that's sort of a new thing, but it's a cool thing, right? And you'll see that in my video tomorrow. I created a script and I created a soundtrack for and again, the soundtrack is based on my Notebook LM notebook. So it's not just create a track. It's not just I typed in some specialized prompt. I said, look at my notebook. Look at my business philosophy. Look at the script we're writing, and then create some music for the script. You'll see that tomorrow in the video that I have released. Now, here's the important part. Um, let's say you get a process you like. You do something. You thought, well, man, that was really cool. And what's one of the like one of the pain points of AI is sometimes you can't do the same thing twice. So you do something you think, well, man, that was pretty awesome. I must be awesome, and I created this. But then I try to go back and do it again. I can't do it. And so the gems are a way for you to be able to replicate what you did and to make sure you codify and that you get down into a process what you did. And then you can go back and repeat that process over and over again. And the gem is the way you do that. Now, if you want you to think about this when it comes to Notebook LM and Gemini chats and all these other tools that we're using, I can go back once I get a process I like and I can replicate it using a Gemini gem. Now, one thing I do want to say here is that Super Gems, which uses Google Opal, and again, this is a way of being able to create applications without coding, right? So don't. And I want to say this parenthetically to you. Um, you don't necessarily want to get excited about the same things that a coder gets excited about, right? Because I mean that just makes us kind of dependent on the coding process. We don't want to we want to build stuff. We want to solve problems. And so what I'm teaching you here puts you in the position to solve problems by building things, right? So once you understand how these things fit together, you build stuff. You don't worry about the code and the stuff that's happening behind the scenes. You go and you build it. And so Super Gems is a way of building an app, customer facing, right? That'll hide your proprietary stuff. Because right now, with a gem as it is, you can't really hide your proprietary things. Inside of Super Gems, which is also opal.google.com if you have it, you'll be able to hide your proprietary things. And so soon you're gonna be able to attach a notebook, LM notebook inside of Super Gems. You can't do that right now. Right. So I don't know if that's going to be something they're going to add to their ultra plan. And what they're kind of doing is they will kind of throttle some of the lower plans. And again, everything depends on how you're monetizing. If you're monetizing and you're going to get somebody to pay you $200, that'll take care of your ultra fee and it won't even be a thing now. What I also say is, you may have to commit to one. So you probably can't have, you don't want to have, Chat GPT, super, $200 for Claude, $200 for Gemini. You want to think about narrowing this down to one, and maybe, as they say when you get married, forsaking all others, right? Okay, so Super Gems is going to have a Notebook LM notebook connection, and so I suggest that you try all of them. Right, go through each one of these and try them for yourself. See what you can create. Get a notebook, LM notebook, attach it to a Gemini chat, create an infographic, do a guided learning process, do a canvas, do a video, do music. Go through each and every one of these, until you can do something. Now, I said that you can replicate the process, and this is what we want to do. You want to codify something that's working. So you get something working, you can go right inside of a gem, and a gem is something that's gonna be a standalone app that's gonna work for you over and over again, the same way every time. And I'm gonna be able to attach a notebook, LM notebook, to my Gemini gem that says, "Hey, do this way." Here's why that's important. I can also do these inside of the gym. I can do deep research. I can do an image. So if I want to have an infographic creation image or an infographic creating process over and over again based on one notebook, LM notebook, right? I can do that, and I do that through a gym. I can do the same thing with deep research, with video, with music, with guided learning, and so you kind of want to be thinking about the ways in which you can build these things, and you want to think about Notebook LM as bigger than the stuff it does, right? So it can do some cool stuff. It gives you the reports and the slide deck and all those other things. That's cool. But when you think about, I can create an individual brain that I can specify it. This is to me the most powerful application of AI. So I get control over it. I can put a leash on this AI to do what I want it to do, but then yet at the same time, get the power of it to do what I want. So I'm directing the AI based on what I want. I still get the power, but I got it on a leash for me. And so that's kind of the way I think we all need to be thinking about AI, because if everything is based on everything the AI does, well, that really does put you at a vulnerability, right? Because if there's no competitive, there's no sustainable competitive advantage if everything I do is only based on what the AI does. However, if the starting process is me and I'm directing the AI, the only place where the people can come and get that is me. And I think that in the future, however we're using AI, at some point you got to have something for yourself where you are directing the AI, and that whatever people are going to get, they're not just getting, and this is just a statistic. You can look this up. I may be wrong about this, but I understand that a lot of what comes in Chat GPT and with the Gemini in general, 30 to 40% of it comes from Reddit. And so do I trust that I want to give my customer that answer? I don't, right? I don't want, even if the AI is good at smashing things together, I don't necessarily want 30 to 40% of the data to come from just Reddit, right? I want it to be smart. And so some cases I want to be able to go to Notebook LM, get the authoritative source that I know is authoritative, upload that source, and then I got a leash on the AI, right? I'm saying I have this book in my AI. Don't go looking on the internet. Notebook LM allows me to direct the AI to only use what I put in there. And then I can attach that to my Gemini chats. Okay, so that's all that I'm going to be doing tonight. I think I'm going to try to see if I can see the questions from YouTube, and if you have them, and maybe you know you might not have any questions. And that's fine too. So I'm going to see if I can just locate the questions here, and I will stop sharing, and I am no longer sharing. And it's just me on the screen. So let me just kind of see if there are any questions um, on the live stream. And then if there are no questions, then I will take off out of here. Let's see. Content and live, and I'm gonna go in here. Again, this is a little new for me to do this fully on on here, but okay. So let's see. I would say yeah, and hello, Deep Focus. Yeah, I would say that if I were going to be using an AI to create courses, um, I think it's the best. And I think you have the most control over over the AI, right? So I would definitely, if I were creating courses and I were going to use my existing knowledge, I would start with Notebook LM. Even if you're going to use other sources, I would start with Notebook LM for sure. Um, Yeah, it is a lot to learn. Um, okay, so someone asks, okay, so you ask, how do you use guided learning with Notebook LM? Well, there are two ways. Number one, we can use Notebook LM to influence the learning process. So let's say that whatever I have in my notebook, I'm going to say, well, hey, I want to learn this, right? I want you to take me through a guided learning process, but I want it to be help me based on what I have in this notebook. So, in other words, I can influence the learning process using Notebook LM. Now, the other way to do it is I can attach the notebook and I can say everything that I have in this notebook is really not understandable. And so maybe even though I, did a video overview and an audio overview, I still don't understand it. So what I want the AI to do in guided learning is I'm going to say, hey, everything that's in this notebook, I need you to take me step by step through this process, and I want you to help me to understand it. So those are the two ways that I would use it. I would put things in the notebook that are really hard to understand, attach it to Gemini and say, take me through this step by step so that I can understand it in my own language. And so guided learning doesn't let you move on until you know it. So in other words, if you continue to answer its questions wrong, it's going to say, "Oh no, that's not right," and I can't let you go on until you know it, until you answer it right. So guided learning is a good way of, and they call it Socratic because it'll ask you questions to see if you know what you're talking about, or if you know what it's or you know what it's talking about. And if you don't, then what it's gonna do, it's gonna not move you on. Yeah, and okay, so yeah, so if you've got materials for a trusted AI, say I would see if I could get that information into a notebook and then attach the notebook to Notebook LM and say, okay, I want to start from the very beginning to make sure I understand this. Um, okay, hey Dana. So it said Dana says if you do outside research to augment your personal experience, can Notebook LM distinguish between the two sources? You might have to tell it. So in other words, if you're putting things inside of the notebook, Dana, and you say and one, let's say source one is outside and source two, whenever you create something or you do something, you might have to tell it. Or in Gemini, when you attach it, it does read the metadata. So what you could do is you could indicate that um in your title, right? And make sure your title is, let's say, outside, 0001 outside source. And then when you attach it to Gemini, you would say, well, hey, only use outside source documents this way, only use my personal information this other way. And so you could handle that if you're going to attach the notebook to Gemini by making sure your metadata um, communicates to the AI, communicates to the computer that one is outside, one's inside. I'm pretty sure you can. So yeah, so you if you're going to use if you're going to create things inside of the notebook, then all you've got to do is select the one you want to create the element and deselect the other one. But if you're going to use NotebookLM to attach it to Gemini, then your documents have to have metadata, or they have to be titled so that you got it. Okay, good, good. I figured you would. Okay, good, 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 good questions. Any other questions? Any other questions? Well, this was a test for me. In going, I have not done a live training in a while. I want to start doing more of these, and hope that this was helpful to you. And let's see, you missed no, no, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And I'm going to be doing more of these. So this one was kind of I want to kind of test the process and try to get it down to understand it. But I hope that this has been helpful to you in terms of how you want to use Notebook LM. Um, okay, so yeah, so Eddie, if you just go to Gemini Chat and you click on the plus button, right? And the same place where you put a document, same place where you put a add something from your Google Drive, it's going to ask you, do you want to which one of those things you want to attach? Let me see if I can pull my slide presentation up again, and I'll show it to you. Where's my slide? And then let's see, I think I have to turn my slide back on. So I'll turn that back on. Okay, so you that's how you do it. So you go to the tools and you just click the plus button and then you attach it, right? It's really easy to do. And it's probably a good thing to kind of go in there tonight and kind of play around with and see what you can do. All right, I'll stop sharing again. Pull back up YouTube. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, if you haven't checked out Notebook LM, I definitely would. And I would say that it is I seriously think, and I'm not really hyping this up. I think it's the best out of all the tools, out of ChatGPT, Gemini. I think it is the best thing that was ever created in terms of AI. I really, really do. And it is unique in what it allows you to do. And if you really want to learn something, there's nothing now that's inaccessible. Now, what you may need to do, and I would encourage you to do this, is to go and get a book scanner, right? And if there's a book, I think it takes me about 15 minutes to scan a 300-page book. And once I have that book, I have information that's not on the internet, right? And I can put that in Notebook LM. And let's say I've never been able to get it. I will tell you that this book, right? This book, I tried, and I know a lot of people have read it. Some people pay this dude $5,000 to go and sit in his course because it's just hard to get, and I couldn't get it. And and so I was able to once I scanned that book, I put it in Notebook LM, and I started summarizing the chapters and started thinking, asking questions. I finally got it. Right? For years. I've had this book for years. Haven't been able to get it. And I did get a book scanner, right? And best purchase I made. Now, of course, you know, I mean, you could probably get the book illegally, right? I mean, but I don't do that. Just so that you'll know, I have my own book scanner and I scan my own books. I'm not because I'm a content creator, so I don't want to see anybody create something and then not get paid, right? So I will, um, so anything that you have not been able to understand, anything, I could not understand this for years, years. And I know people, listen, and I don't think I'm a dummy, right? I just couldn't get it. It didn't go in my brain. And I know a lot of people have read it. They say, "Oh, it's awesome." It wasn't awesome to me. So, what can you say? I mean, you probably have some things like that that work like that for you. I, right? I mean, there's things that I know that go in my brain very well that don't go in other people's brain. And I can see it I can see it, right? And and when I'm explaining things, they're like, I don't understand what you're saying. Oh man. Okay, so John was saying, yeah, right, yeah, with Reddit, and when I heard that, and you can look up these statistics, and as I understand, it's like 30 or 40%. A lot of the information is coming from Reddit, and I've been on Reddit before, and they don't know everything, right? They just don't. So be that as it may. All right, everybody. Well, it's good hanging out with you all. And like I said, I'll be doing this again. And this is a bit of a test. And hope that this was helpful for you. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care. Let me see if I can figure out how to get out of here. Let's see. I don't know how to do this. Oh, there we go.